What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Big Lou. Welcome back to Steel City Muscle Podcast, episode 11. Glad to have you guys listening today. This is a part 2 from episode 10. Got a few, other things I wanted to talk about and bring a part 2 to the last episode where I was talking about success and the things that come along with it. I believe, there's a downfall and a negative side to success. And, let me elaborate on that. Everybody wants to achieve success. But I could probably say 80% of people don't want to go down the road that it takes to achieve that set success, whether it be at their job, in relationships, friendships, whether that be at achieving a physical fitness goal, a financial goal, whatever. Everybody wants the trophy and the success, but people don't want to experience the trials and tribulations that come along with success within those respected fields. So I kind of want to break that down. Let's talk about that. Like first, let's get into relationships. Well, you know what? Let's go back. Go to the YouTube channel, 412 Steel City Muscle. I want you to like, share, subscribe. Hit that bell for post notifications. You'll know every time I drop an episode on the podcast. Also, you can inbox me on Instagram at 412 Steel City Muscle or email me at 412steelcitymuscle@gmail.com. If you want to either be on a podcast or you want to just give me topics that you want to hear my opinion on. There's a lot of topics, and I say that because I might give a unique perspective that you might not have thought of. And vice versa. Like if you got a perspective on something that I've talked about in these first 10, 11 episodes, please feel free to reach out to me. I'm not against anybody that goes against what I got to say. I'm not that sensitive. I'm more of a realist. So let's have that open dialogue and let's move forward. Like I said, I want to have success with the podcast, but also success with my subscribers in the line of communication and let them know that, man, I'm fair game. Anybody can say anything to me. But just know that when talking to me, I'm going to talk to you how I talk. And cause that's me and that's how I am. But let's jump right into it. When you talk about one perspective of success and we talk about relationships, I think there's obviously a success and failure in that. Like I said, you obviously start out with a relationship with trials and tribulations, like with trial and error. You're training her, she's training you, or whatever situation you're in. You're training your spouse to get to know you and vice versa. Now, what comes along with that, what makes it a trial or error is the fact that, there has to be a level of effort that's recognized on both parties to see if this even has potential to succeed. Even in the best relationships, I've never heard of a successful relationship. When I say success, I mean, we're talking about people that have been together 30, 40, 50 years. I've never heard of those type of situations and successful relationships that didn't start out with trial and error. It didn't start out with the effort being recognized that, hey, you know what? I'm trying to get into a real relationship here. So, you better step up or what? And if you're a person who has the mindset that I want to get into a relationship, you're 9 times out of 10, your level of effort is going to be different because your effort is there because either one, you haven't experienced a great relationship, or 2, you've experienced horrible relationships. And now you feel like, oh, it's about time that I get a good relationship. So the question is if you've been in crappy relationships and you're ready for a good one, are you prepared for one? And do you deserve one? And what I say by deserve it, I don't mean that you're undeserving, but you kind of are. I mean it in this sense. Are you willing to put forth the effort as if this is like a brand new, clean slate, but you want something great and you know what's required to create something great and you're qualified based off of your level of effort to even participate in something that's going to be great. And that right there is something that's very, very hard for people to recognize and realize. So I want to go back to the general concept of success, and then I'll break down the categories. I feel like success, the first step to achieving it is the breakdown. Let's say you want to achieve personal confidence. And that's what you define as success. The first step should be with that is to break yourself down, honestly and realistically. Break yourself down. If you're a person who has low self-esteem, if you're a person who has low confidence, what you should do is look in the mirror and basically talk shit on yourself. Say everything horrible about you that you know if somebody else said it, it would destroy you. Say that to yourself in the mirror. Because once you do that, and then that becomes normalized, then nobody else can hurt you. Because there's nothing they can say that you haven't already heard. So I'm a big proponent of let's get that out the way. Get it out the way. If you tell yourself everything that's wrong with you before anybody else even has the opportunity to do so, when they say it, it will hurt less. Go in the mirror. Say, I got fat cheeks. Nah, my eyebrows ain't looking good. I got bags under my eyes. I got pimples on my face. I got a high-pitched voice. I got a deep voice. I carry myself masculine. I carry myself feminine. People don't like how I talk. People don't like how I yell. People don't like this. People don't like that. I don't like this. I don't like that. If you go down the gauntlet of all the stuff that you don't like, there you go. Get it out your system. And once you do, now you're at rock bottom. If you're like, you know what? I done said everything. And it ain't that bad. Like it's bad, but it ain't that bad. Because I said it. So now, all you can do now is grow from there. I will tell you, growth comes from pain. It doesn't come from success. So now let's grow. I ask you to get over that pain. You got to get over it. You broke yourself down. You broke down everything that was wrong with you. You realize what's wrong with you. So now you can focus on attacking those things that's wrong with you to grow. And now the next task, which is very difficult, I'm not going to sugarcoat it and say it's easy, is to get everybody in your life on board with your growth. Like if you got pimples all over your face and you're constantly in the grocery store trying to find every acne treatment and you're buying devices that suck the pus out of your face and all kind of nasty shit, share that with your friends who got pimples. Share that with anybody who's intimate with you, who has a close relationship with you. Hey, what you doing today? Hey, man, listen, I got to go get some good facial scrub because my face looks horrible. What you're doing is you're normalizing it not only to yourself, but to the people who are actually matter in your circle. And what I would ask you to do, what I would advise you to do is this. And it's coming from a person who solely focused their life on changing physical appearance because I didn't like how I looked. I didn't get into fitness because I cared about muscles. I didn't get into fitness because I cared about how much I bench pressed and all that. I cared about, initially it was because I wanted girls. Then I wanted to play football. Then I said, you know what? I got a spouse. I gotta make sure I'm the best spouse for her, that she can brag about me. That's my responsibility, is to be a good spouse for her, not to fall off. So what I did was I made my world revolve around my fitness drive. I was driven to be in shape. It didn't matter why. So then I started meeting people who cared about dieting. I met people who cared about the gym. I met people who cared about, powerlifting and arm wrestling and bodybuilding and the sport that I was in. I met people like that because I forced my world to be like, yo, if you support this or you can't be a part of it. You got to be willing to do that. Part of success is cutting off the weak links in your life And a lot of people aren't willing to do that because they say, oh, well, that person has a label in my life. That's my cousin. That's my best friend. That's my whatever. Well, if they're truly your friend or supporter or whatever, shouldn't they support your transition in character? That's a question you got to ask yourself. So now, if they know you're sensitive and you're this and you're that, and you're trying to grow up out of that, they need to support that. So now you let them know you looked in the mirror and you broke yourself down. So now when somebody else does it, it'll have no effect on you. Break yourself down. When you're by yourself, when you're driving in a car, when you're thinking about something you're doing, you're like, man, should I be doing this? Should I not be doing this? Whatever the case may be, break yourself down. Like, yo, you look stupid. Like, yo, that person is using you. You look stupid. Then the next question is, how do I fix that? And then it is, am I okay with it? Because if you're okay with it, kudos to you. But don't neglect the fact to say, hey, I don't want to be called stupid, but yet again, you want to do stupid stuff. I don't want to be used, but you made yourself usable. Like, accept what you created. Embrace it, at least. But don't sit there and say, oh, you can't have your cake and eat it too. You can't say, oh, I got used and this and that. And then you go crying wolf whenever somebody uses you. You can't do that. You can't do that. That makes no sense. Now you're being a hypocrite. Accept what you are. Forget what anybody else thinks. You got to accept what you are. Raw and uncut. I'm 6'2", 220 pounds. Whether I want to be that or not, I got to accept that's what I am. If I want to be 230, I got to make it happen. If I want to be 210, I got to make it happen. But at the end of the day, I'm 6'2", 220 right now. I'm saying deal with the realities first and then make decisions and goals based off of your, whether you like or dislike the realities. That's what I'm saying. I want to talk about something in relationships that I think is a cancer in relationships, and that's pride. I feel like pride, a lot of people have too much pride in their relationships. You know, pride is one of those things that it's like, it's a great benefit as far as boosting self-confidence, but it can be a negativity when it overrides your spouse. And here's what I mean. In no other aspect would you have too much pride for. Would you even strive for it? Like, if you got kids, your pride never supersedes your kids and the energy you want to put into your kids. And what that means is, like, let's say if your kids need you and you can't go to the club because you got to go to take them to church the next day or go to a soccer game or whatever, you're not going to be like, oh, no, I got too much pride. I'm not going to let my kid's soccer game deny me the club. You're not going to do that. But I see people out there, men and women, saying, oh, well, you know what? I got a girl, but I don't care. I'm still going out to the club. I don't care what she think. Or chicks out there like, nah, I don't give a fuck what he say. I'm going to do what the fuck I want to do. I'm going to dress like a whore. I'm going to dress like this and this and that in revealing outfits. And I'm going to do that anyway. Why? What did you... I never understood. I've never seen a single example of somebody who's benefited from being overly prideful. Where'd you benefit? Okay, you wore a provocative dress. Okay, what'd you get? What did you gain? If you're a loyal chick, you went back to your man. So now your man's like, well, why did you put yourself out there like a piece of bait to get attention, but you coming back to me? So to him, it's actually offensive because it's like, to him, he's like, well, why do you want to be a piece of bait? Why do you want to be a piece of bait And it's regardless. Then you hear some women say, oh, well, you know what? He don't pay me no attention. He don't this. Well, why are you with him? If your man ain't complimenting you, he ain't doing this, then you picked the wrong man. Sorry. Because if you picked the right man and he was giving you that attention, would you still dress like that? If the answer is no, then you're doing that for pride. That's ridiculous. At the end of the day, a lot of people do stuff pride-based. And I've seen it in the nightclubs. I've seen it out there. And I always ask them, like, well, what did you gain from it? You didn't gain anything about self-respect or nothing like that. You just like the fact that you look good. Okay, cool. You look good. I'm glad that made you happy temporarily. Remember, it's a temporary emotion. But the impression that you're leaving, because guess what? Maybe your dude knows everybody out. Maybe you gain the reputation of something that you're not, which could be a slut or a whore. But you're like, oh, but that's not me. But people don't know that. They know that's the girl always in a dress with her nipples out. They don't know that you are a top executive and you make six figures and you're loyal and you take care of the kids, you cook, clean, and whatever. They don't know that. Because at the end of the day, when you're in a social setting, people just know from what they see. And same with men. If you're a good man, you actually have a responsibility to prove that. Because there's so many knuckleheads out there that most women will treat you as if you're one of them. Until you prove you're not one of them. So a man is different. He got to dress in a three-piece suit to give off the, oh, I'm a CEO. But guess what? I know a lot of dudes that make six figures and they don't wear suits. They don't wear suits. And women don't know that. A lot of women don't know that. And they don't even assume it. I've seen dudes literally, I know a guy, a wealthy guy. He's a multimillionaire. And this guy used to wear like discount store shorts, cargo shorts, and t-shirts when he went out. And nobody knew that this guy was a multimillionaire. And he liked it. And you know what he said to me? He said I dress like this because people treat me differently than if they knew my income, my social income status. I said, wow, that makes sense. Like, I get it. That makes sense. If you want people to truly try to get to know you and not know that you're this multimillionaire, you can't dress like a multimillionaire. Women, it's the opposite. Nobody dresses better than a broke woman. Period. Broke women will dress in Gucci and whatever, Louis Vuitton, whatever, but not have any money. But they look like $1 million. Whether some dude bought her that stuff or she bought it herself, but she spent all her money on that. And we got to balance that out a little bit better. When it comes to judging people, or relationships, whether even it's just friendships, because friendships are relationships as well. Pride cannot be in that, because I don't know anybody has pride in friendships. If you have a genuine friendship, you just say, no, I'm going to be myself, you be yourself, and hopefully we get along. And that's amazing. Relationships need to catch up and be on that same level. The other part of pride, I feel like people either don't care about how they're judged or they care too much about how they're judged. So I want to talk about people judging you. Like, let's talk about that. Why do you care about people judging you? Like, why is that so big nowadays? Like, that's what empowers the cancel culture. That's what empowers the critics. They all are empowered because, they understand that they're being judged. So my question is like, how do you deal with judgment? And to me, I think you either got two options. You either don't give a crap about how you're judged, or you give a crap about how you're judged. I mean, that's pretty much it. I personally don't care how I'm judged. I don't. To me, genuineness is more important than how you think of me, because your perception of me can be off. That's up to personal discretion. So why would I put my faith or my energy into that? My thing is like, yo, this is me. I can sleep at night because I know this is me, whether it's good, bad, ugly, beautiful, amazing. I don't care. I can be content with knowing the fact that I was being me. So I always question people who aren't like that and say, well, I won't wear this outfit because I don't want people to think this. I don't want to go to that place because I don't want people to think that. I don't want to eat that food because people might think this. My question is, why do you care what other people think? Like, for what? When have you ever benefited from caring what other people think outside of work? Because we know, unless you're the boss, you're the CEO, the owner, the founder, whatever the case may be, you go to work, you got to answer to somebody. There's a hierarchy of power within that can control your fate at work. So I get that. We call it work mode. You go in work mode. But outside of that, let's say you're in social settings, you're in a grocery store, you care about the people who are judging you at home. Like, you gotta put on a front for your spouse. I've heard some women say, oh, I gotta do this because my man might think this. What? Well, wait a minute. I thought that was your man. I thought he was there to have your back. Then you gotta admit you got a bad spouse, because you need to be raw and uncut with your spouse. Because at the end of the day, nobody wants, okay, I'll give you an example. And I'm going to give some advice to the ladies from a man's perspective. If a man marries you or proposes to you to marry you, right? He wants to marry the woman who she is at the time of the proposal. He's not expecting change. He's not expecting a different woman once you walk down the aisle or after you walk down the aisle. He's not expecting that. He wants to marry the current woman. So why would you change? Now, if you change for the better, that's great, because then he's a beneficiary. But if you change for the worse, that's not what he signed up for. And vice versa. Dudes, like, stop having... It's way too common that we have this thing in our culture. We say, oh, there's a honeymoon phase, and then there's the after phase. Now we figure out who you really are. Well, wait a minute. You be like, this ain't the dude I met. Women, get rid of him. He gotta go. He gotta go. I ain't single, but if I was, one thing I could honestly say is like, yo, if you like me on day one, you gonna like me 5 years later. You gonna like me 10 years later, because I'm the same person. And I'm not bragging, I'm just being honest. This is me. Because I don't care about being judged. Like, I don't care. I care more about being genuine than being judged. And I feel like we need to start doing that more. Being genuine than being judged. Care more about being genuine than being judged, because there's a lot of people faking it. And they're gonna fake it until they achieve their goal in whatever status they're trying to obtain with you. And then they're going to come back. Once they're comfortable, they're going to be whoever. And that's not right. So what you do is, I feel like you got to hold people accountable. Let them know from the gates, I don't care who you are. Like, I mean, I care, like, hey, from the gates, if you're being genuine and you're a good person, this is who you are genuinely, and I like you, after that, I don't care. I don't care. All I care about is the progression. But don't be a good person for me for 2 months and then change later on. Because I'll let you go. I didn't sign up for that. That's not how it works. That's not how it works. And my question is like, yo, if you've been with somebody longer and longer and longer, why isn't that desire to be better for your spouse growing? The longer you with somebody, you should want to be better for them more because you got seniority now. Like, you know, oh man, I'm 10 years in. Oh man, I need to be better. Because at the end of the day, you know better. When you know better, you do better. That's an old saying I learned when I grew up. When you know better, you do better. So I hold my friends accountable. You know me, I don't get mad at people who don't know me. If you don't know me and you talk trash to me or whatever the case may be, you want to be brave, come down to the club, play the tough guy role. Okay, cool. Because you don't know no better. And you don't know me. But the people who know me, I'm going to jack you up worse. Because you know better. You know that you could talk to me. You know we can have a civil conversation. And you still chose that negative route. So now I'm going to mess you up with emphasis. I'm only going to go after somebody I care about because I'm like, yo, bro, I cared about our connection. I cared about our friendship. And you want to come at me? I'm going to bust you down worse because you should know better. A stranger, they don't know no better. As long as they don't touch me, I don't care. Put your hands on me. Okay, cool. At your own risk. Okay, cool. But talk trash so, you know, you can look good in front of your girl. Talk trash so you can look good in front of your friends. Okay. If that strokes your ego and you get to go home at night, great. But I'm fine because I ain't been touched. But if you touch me, I'm going to embarrass you. But my friends or somebody who knows me, we going to have a problem. Same thing with your spouses, people. Your spouse knows you. Y'all got time invested together. You should go harder for your spouse that you decided to stay with. You decided to get with. Remember that. So if they turn out a piece of crap, that's on you as well. Because you didn't hold them accountable. You didn't help them grow to be better for you. You got to help your spouse be better for you. And if you're not willing to do that, they shouldn't be your spouse. They got to go. They got to go. So as far as being judged is concerned, who the person is who's judging you matters. If it's a stranger, who gives a crap? Let them judge. Stop caring about what random people who don't matter. They ain't paying your bills. They're not intimate in your life. They're not progressing your life. Why do you care what they think? We got to stop that as a culture. Seriously, because it's getting ridiculous. And then as far as you judging yourself, we got to stop only judging ourselves off success. Success isn't the only thing that defines us. Sometimes the struggles that we go through to succeed matter more. If you were born into a royalty family and you inherited millions and then you go out and buy a $250,000 car, that car's not going to mean that much to you. But if you grew up in poverty and you were poor and you were homeless and then you saved up enough money and then you hit the lottery and then you buy that $250,000 dream car, that's different. That's different. You know? And I want to transition into effort in relationships because I feel like a lot of people now, it's being way more popular that you should do very little but receive the maximum. I just want to know when the hell did that start? When the hell did that start? Like I said, I can't speak for other people, but I know this. I don't deserve nothing unless I give my best. But the way my mom always taught me, when you give your best effort, then you demand the best results. It puts you in position to demand the best results. When you're in a relationship that you decided to be in, remember that. You decided that. And if it's a bad decision, get out of it. Period. So if you decide to stay in this, say, all right, I'm in this. Your level of effort shouldn't diminish. It should grow over time, not diminish. effort in relationships, friendships, relationships with your children, your effort level needs to be greater. Whether it's putting energy or effort into your community, doing charity work, put effort into teaching the next generation coming after you. Because guess what? Eventually you're going to sound like an old person too and start complaining about the younger generation. But if you put enough effort into schooling them and helping them out and giving them wisdom ahead of time, just maybe that next generation might be better off. Hopefully. I'll do charity work. I don't care what the charity is. I'm at the nightclub. I talk to these young guys. And I'm not trying to boast myself. I'm just being honest. Because I feel like when I was coming up, I didn't have people doing that for me. Until I got a little bit older. Then I had some OGs. Till this day, I pay them homage. Every time I see them, I say, "What's up, OG?" OG is a sign of respect. Because I know they changed my mindset about being out, being in certain places, how you carry yourself, how you treat your lady. How did we go from the 60s and 70s when music was about love to nowadays it's about how many weapons you got, how much money you get, and how much jewelry you got? How the hell did that happen? We all admit it happened. How did it happen? There had to be a transition period there. I fault my generation for not helping out the younger generation. And the more it goes on, these generations aren't helping the people coming after them. They're not. So they're misguided, they're misdirected. We got to show them how to cater to their community. We got to show, and that's put forth effort towards friendship, schooling these young athletes, participating in youth sports, participating in community charities, the educational systems, supporting our teachers, supporting our principals, supporting the social places, teaching these kids how to talk to waiters and waitresses in restaurants, bartenders and club owners and bottle service girls and things like that, and security. Let them know that the stuff that happens should be the extreme and not the norm. These events that are happening are the norm now, and they should be the extreme. And I fault us for not taking care of the younger generation. So your effort in relationships, I challenge everybody. Men and women. I challenge you to be a better spouse by putting forth the effort to make sure that your spouse has what they need to make their day easier. I also challenge you to take on the next generation, if you are able to school them. You see somebody wearing their pants down their butt, tell them, pull them up. Teach somebody how to talk in an interview. Teach somebody how to talk to a teacher, how to resolve a fist fight verbally. Teach your younger cousins, nieces and nephews and cousins and all that stuff. Teach them. Because a lot of stuff that I learned and I retained from my siblings, they weren't there when I implemented those lessons. They weren't there. So maybe you can be that lesson that teaches somebody beneath you how to act. So when they're not with you, we won't see them cutting up. And the only time we hear about it is on the news the next day. We got to be better leaders, better role models. And I talk to my people in the fitness community. Teach these younger people how to work out, how to take care of themselves. Maybe we'll have better athletes in the NFL, MLB, NBA, WNBA, in swimming, badminton, volleyball, all these sports. Teach them how to take care of themselves, how to diet, how to eat right. So they can be the super athletes that they want to be, that's going to provide the 6-figure contract, that's going to allow them to take care of their family. You want to be at the NBA draft as one of those moms that your son got drafted and he bought you a house, right? Why aren't you showing your son how to eat right? There's your investment. He don't need no Sunny D and Capri Sun. Stop buying that dude Kool-Aid with a half a pound of sugar in that stuff. Get him the stuff he needs to get right. Support your students, not just athletes. These kids are magicians out here. They're very artistic. You got kids out there that can play the violin, the viola, the cello, the trumpet, the flute, all these instruments. Support that. I want to finish this podcast with a little bit of fitness motivation. Talk about dieting. A lot of people struggle with this, old, young. A lot of times, the people who don't struggle with it, they put them in a category or a classification where they're like, oh, they're extreme. No, we're not. We're not extreme. We just do what the body actually prefers. Like, don't smoke cigarettes and then get surprised when you get lung cancer. Don't eat fried food and then be surprised when you have a stroke because your arteries are clogged. All I'm saying is that I understand that it is a process in order to get better as far as your diet is concerned, but I challenge you to do this. Take one of your guilty pleasures and find a healthy version of it. If you like pizza, find a way to make a healthy pizza. And don't tell me it doesn't exist, because it does. I don't care if you're vegan. I don't care if you're trying to go low carb. Okay, cool. Get you a cauliflower crusted pizza. If you like burgers, find a way to make you a healthy burger. I challenge you to do so. Do the research. And what I'll say is this. When I kind of changed my life and converted to a more healthier lifestyle, one thing I learned was healthier food tastes better. It actually tastes better because the flavors that you're trying to mix, the flavors you're trying to create are enhanced because it's the real thing. It's not the artificial. Like we've all had grape juice. Does it really taste like grapes? No, it don't. We've all had orange juice. We've all had orange drink. Do they taste the same? No, they don't. I challenge you to take your guilty pleasures, the things that you're the most happy with. Oh, I say, I love Reese Cups, because that used to be my favorite candy. So you know what I did? I mixed almond milk, raw cocoa powder, which is pure chocolate, and PB2 Blaster, peanut butter. Mixed that up in a blender and drank it. Guess what? It tasted like a Reese Cup. Actually, it tasted like how a Reese Cup should taste. Like real chocolate, real peanut butter. I challenge you this week. Find your guilty pleasures and find healthy alternatives to it. And I want you to have the mindset to put forth the effort, just like in any other relationship. Your relationship with your food is what's going to either be 100% beneficial or 100% detrimental to you. And you deserve to be better. We're going to have some special guests coming on real soon. I know I said that before, but schedules didn't meet up. But I got some special guests coming. My brother Ray's coming back. I got my man Jay Brown coming on. I'm going to try to do some more stuff, fairly shortly, because we got some stories. We got some stories. And like I said, we would love for anybody to reach out to us. Contact me on Instagram, 412steelcitymuscle, on email, 412steelcitymuscle@gmail.com. And we'll answer all emails. If you want to come on the podcast, great. If not, give us topics that we can talk about. And maybe it's a funny perspective, or we'll give a perspective nonetheless. But it's your boy, Big Lou. I appreciate y'all hearing me out. Hear me ramble for about a half hour, 35 minutes, or whatever the case may be. But let's keep it real, raw, and uncut. Let's be safe out here. Be progressive out here. Keep your prayers up for those who you know who are struggling, and yourself if you're struggling. But man up. Face reality and then move forward from there. If you never face it, you can never grow from it. So it's your boy Big Lou. Take care, SCM Nation, and I'm out.